The Axoni hegemony's threat fleet commander Varric Talani stood on the observation deck of the Dominion, the flagship of the Axoni hegemony. His 4 eyes fixed on the tactical display, irritation creeping across his features. The twitch of his upper right eye betrayed a habit born from centuries of military campaigns. "Status," he demanded, his voice resonating with the metallic timbre unique to his species. Lieutenant Schrey glided forward atop her gravity disk, manipulating the holographic console with effortless precision. "The human diplomatic vessel remains stationary, sir. Defensive posture only. No offensive moves detected." Varric exhaled sharply, the sound reverberating through his breathing apparatus. Typical humans. Clinging to protocol while their colony teeters on the edge of ruin. Around him, the bridge crew exchanged uneasy glances. Every officer of the hegemony understood the paradox of humanity: erratic, inventive, and, most dangerously, capable of the impossible when pressed to the wall. "Sir," ventured Strategic Officer Pel Dorath, his scaled hide glimmering beneath the bridge lights, "perhaps their offer deserves consideration. The mining rights they propose for the Epsilon sector might satisfy the Council without risking—" "Risking what?" Varric turned, all 4 eyes narrowing on the younger officer. "A fight? Are you suggesting the mighty Axoni hegemony should fear these mammals?" Dorath swallowed, scales tightening against his jaw. "No, Commander. Only that a cost-benefit analysis favors negotiation in this case." "Cost-benefit analysis," Varric repeated with disdain. "I have studied humans for 50 cycles. Their wars, their politics, their desperate little gambits. They bluff, always, right before they break." The tactical display widened, revealing the Taurus system. Suspended in the projection, New Arcturus gleamed like a sapphire against the void. Its defenses were meager. Scattered orbital platforms, a fleet of aging cruisers, and several million colonists huddled on the surface. Hardly worth the hegemony's full might. "Commander," Lieutenant Schrey interrupted, "another transmission from the human vessel." "Put it through," Varric ordered with a dismissive flick of his claw. "Let's hear their latest plea." The hologram shifted. A human woman appeared, middle-aged by their measure, hair cropped short in efficient military style, reddish-brown streaked with gray. The insignia on her uniform identified her as a high-ranking officer of the United Earth Defense Force. "Fleet Commander Varric," she began, her voice level, unshaken. "I am Admiral Elena Koshiro of the UAEDF. This is your final chance to withdraw from New Arcturus space." Varric's laugh rang harsh, metal grating against stone. "Admiral Koshiro, your persistence is admirable. But the Taurus system belongs to the hegemony by right of discovery. Your settlement violates our law. However, we are generous. Surrender New Arcturus, and we will allow your colonists to evacuate." With what little they can carry, her expression did not waver. No fear, no hesitation. Only that steady, irritating calm. "New Arcturus has been a recognized human colony for 27 years, she replied. "Survey records prove our teams arrived 32 years ago." "Your claim is false," Varric's claws flexed. "Your documents mean nothing to the Council." "Our claim stands." "Then we have a problem," she said simply. "Because we are not leaving." Something in her tone made the spines along Varric's back bristle. "You've seen our fleet, Admiral. You've measured our weapons. You cannot win this battle." For the first time, her face shifted, not toward fear, but toward something far more unsettling, a faint smile. "Commander Varric," she said softly, "for 3 days I have explained our claim. I've provided evidence. I've offered compromise. You rejected everything because you believe humanity is beneath you." "The hegemony does not compromise with lesser species," Varric snapped. "Then I understand," Koshiro said, her voice calm but edged like a blade. "We are done talking." The hologram blinked out. On the bridge, silence pressed heavy until Dorath asked, hesitant, "Sir, what does she mean?" "Done talking?" Varric waved him off. "It means they're preparing to surrender. Ready the boarding parties. We'll start with their diplomatic ship." "Commander!" Schrey's voice was sharp, urgent. New energy signatures emerging from the far side of the planet. Varric spun back to the display. Impossible. Scouts had reported the entire human defense fleet already deployed. Yet new contacts flickered into view. Dozens, then hundreds. Classification, Varric barked, a cold tremor coursing through his thorax. UAEDF warships, Shrey reported, tentacles blurring over the controls. Destroyer class, cruiser class, and 5 dreadnought-class vessels among them. Varric froze. Impossible. Human dreadnoughts are kept in their core systems. They wouldn't waste them on a frontier colony. Sir, Durath said quietly. More FTL signatures incoming. Many more. The display updated again, icons multiplying across the void. Not dozens, not hundreds. A flood of warships. An armada that could only represent a substantial portion of the entire United Earth Defense Force. Varric's confidence crumbled. This is a trap, Commander, Shrey whispered. Another transmission. Audio only. Varric swallowed hard, hating the tremor in his voice. Put it through. Admiral Koshiro's voice filled the bridge. Still calm, but now laced with something new. Something predatory. Commander Varric, she said. Perhaps I should have made myself clearer. We're done talking. When I said we were finished, Admiral Koshiro's voice cut across the bridge, cool and deliberate. I wasn't declaring surrender. I was telling you the diplomatic phase was over. Varric felt his chest tighten, his breathing apparatus straining as silence stretched. You see, Commander, Koshiro continued, your intelligence analysts overlooked something vital. New Arcturus isn't just a colony. It's where many of our veterans settle after service. Men and women who once commanded fleets, fought campaigns, and wrote the tactics you studied in your academies. When you threatened their homes, their families, their grandchildren, they reached out to old comrades, to the ships they once commanded, to the officers who still remember what it means to stand with them. On the tactical display, the swelling armada shifted seamlessly into an attack formation. Varric's claws twitched as he realized every ship was precisely where it needed to be, as if they had trained for this moment all along. You have 30 minutes, Koshiro said flatly. Withdraw your forces from this system, or we will remove them for you. And Commander, understand this clearly, we do not bluff. The transmission cut. The bridge of the Dominion sank into stunned silence. Orders, sir? Lieutenant Shrey asked hesitantly. Varric Tilani, once a conqueror of worlds, could only stare at the tactical readout. His entire life he had believed the same lesson drilled into every Axoni officer. Humans negotiated because they lacked the resolve for war. But the fleet arrayed before him told another truth entirely. They sought peace not from weakness, but because they understood the cost of bloodshed. And when the talking stopped, prepare the fleet for withdrawal, Varric said at last, his voice hollow. All ships, maximum speed. Officers rushed to obey. Strategic Officer Durath lingered, troubled. Sir, the Council will demand an explanation. Varric's gaze remained locked on the display, watching ship after ship emerge from hyperspace to defend a world he had dismissed as trivial. Tell them, he said quietly, that today we discovered a fundamental truth about humans. When they say they're done talking, that's when you should be afraid. The Dominion shuddered as its engines engaged, leading the hegemony fleet into retreat. No shots fired, no heroic last stand, just the crushing humiliation of defeat. Yet even as Varric fled, a bitter thought gnawed at him. Perhaps this was mercy. For now he understood that humanity's strength was not in their weapons nor their numbers, but in the unnerving calm of leaders who only fight when words have failed. And in that moment, Varric swore he would never again stand on the wrong side of those words. We are done talking. 6 cycles later. The consequences of failure. 6 standard cycles had passed since the disastrous retreat from the Taurus system. 6 cycles of disgrace, demotion, and whispered ridicule. Varric Tilani, once a fleet commander of the Axoni hegemony, now served out his days as a lowly security consultant on Vigilant Outpost, a forgotten station at the galaxy's edge. Another thrilling night. Watching dust collect on the sensors, Varric muttered, slouched over the console. His uniform bore no medals now, no honors, just the plain markings of a civilian contractor. You should count yourself fortunate, remarked Zep Norvac. the young officer assigned to share his graveyard shift. Most who fail the hegemony as spectacularly as you did end up as fertilizer in the agricultural domes. Varric shot him a glare sharp enough to silence the room. Your tact is as underdeveloped as your historical knowledge, Norvac. Just saying, the younger Axoni shrugged, scales rippling with irritation. The council must think you still have some use left. Or they enjoy watching me rot in this garbage post, Varric replied bitterly, turning back to the monotonous screens. The sector was empty, barren, not even pirates bothered with it. Then the comm unit chimed. Both Axoni straightened. Incoming transmission, Norvac reported, excitement breaking through the boredom. Origin unknown. Diplomatic frequency. A chill crawled down Varric's spine. That's not standard for any hegemony ship. Maybe traders, Norvac offered, already reaching for the accept control. Wait, Varric began, but it was too late. The holographic display flickered, resolving into the face of a human male. Older, streaks of gray in his beard, eyes sharp and steady in a way that reminded Varric painfully of Koshiro. Greetings, Vigilant Outpost, the human said smoothly. I am Captain Gabriel Aosta of the United Earth Defense Force vessel Harbinger. Requesting permission to approach. We have a matter of mutual concern. Norvac blinked. UDF, a trading guild? Varric gripped his shoulder with a clawed hand, squeezing hard. United Earth Defense Force, he hissed. Humans. Color drained from Norvac's scales. Here? But this sector isn't even close to their territory. Varric straightened, forcing his dignity back into place. Captain Aosta, this is security consultant Varric Talani. Your presence violates multiple treaties. State your purpose. Recognition flickered in the human's eyes, followed by a faint smile. Fleet Commander Talani, I wasn't expecting you, though I suppose consultant is the proper title now. The jab stung, but Varric held steady. My rank is irrelevant. You are trespassing. Perhaps, Aosta admitted easily. But our reason concerns both our peoples. We've detected unusual energy signatures in the Valkyr Nebula 3 light years from here. Our scientists believe they may indicate the ruins of a precursor outpost. Varric's heart skipped a beat. The precursors. Ancient, vanished, their technology priceless beyond measure. One artifact could alter the balance of power for centuries. You expect me to believe humans would share such a discovery after Taurus? Varric asked slowly. Captain Aosta's smile deepened, and something in it set alarms ringing in Varric's bones. We aren't sharing out of charity, Consultant Talani. The signatures suggest unstable systems. If that outpost contains degraded weapons or power cores, they could threaten both human and Axoni worlds. We propose a joint investigation. The mysterious discovery, sir, if there's any chance he's telling the truth. Norvac found his voice at last. Cut audio, Varric ordered. The comms fell silent. The human transmission paused. He fixed the younger officer with a hard look. Think, Norvac. Why would humans come to us with this? They could investigate the site themselves and claim whatever they find. They said the site is unstable, Norvac replied. If systems or weapons have degraded, it might be dangerous, or they want something from us. Norvac finished for him. Access codes to hegemony corridors, or knowledge of our sensor nets so they can avoid our defenses. Varric considered the possibility. The junior officer's instincts were rough, but not baseless. Or it's a trap, he added grimly. Payback for new Arcturus. The Harbinger is only a light cruiser, Norvac countered. Formidable, but not an invasion force. Varric's memories of Taurus burned behind his eyes. He motioned to resume the transmission. Captain Aosta, he said into the open channel, your request requires authorization from Hegemony Command. I will forward your coordinates. Hold position until we respond. We will await your reply. Aosta acknowledged, and the feed dropped. Norvac's confusion was immediate. Sir, the Council will take days to answer if they answer at all. We're not their priority. Precisely. Varric's 4 eyes narrowed. Which gives us time. Time for what? Norvac asked. To investigate ourselves. Varric turned fully to his subordinate. If there's really a precursor outpost within range, we secure it now. We beat the humans to it. I know that violates protocol. We're supposed to wait for specialist teams, but if we delay, they'll strip it bare. And if it's a trap? Norvac asked, uneasy. Our patrol vessel is armed and has stealth capabilities, Varric said. We approach cautiously, scan thoroughly before committing. If it's a trap, we'll survive it. Norvac hesitated, then met Varric's gaze. If it's a trap, we'll find out what humans are capable of when they're done talking. 12 hours later, the patrol vessel's swift judgment carved a path through the Valkyr Nebula. Multicolored gas and drifting dust framed their approach like a holy corridor. Sensors pinged and sang, energy signatures intensifying, Norvac reported from the sensor station. Pattern matches known precursor emission spectra definitely artificial. Varric felt triumph surge through him. The humans had not lied. Also registering elevated radiation. Instability present, Norvac continued. I can localize the source. Wait. New contact. Ship signature on an intercept course. A harbinger? Varric slammed a fist to the console. I knew it. No, sir. Norvac's voice clipped. Not matching any configuration in our database. The nebula ahead rippled. Shapes in the gas cohered into a single massive silhouette, a vessel like nothing in Axoni archives. Its hull shimmered with an oily iridescence that bent light and reason alike. Its architecture violated every engineering principle Varric had ever learned. What is that? Norvac whispered. Before an answer could come, something struck the swift judgment. Systems screamed. The bridge lurched. Alarms blared. We're being boarded! Norvac shouted as he scrambled for weapons. Varric hauled himself upright, dazed but functional. There were no boarding craft, no docking clamps. The realization of how they had been breached came when the bridge doors slid open. The figure that stepped through was humanoid only in the loosest sense. Its outline shifted and shimmered, as if the thing fought to maintain coherence inside normal space. Where a face should be, there was a roiling vortex of prismatic light. Norvac raised a plasma rifle with shaking hands. The figure tilted what acted like a head. The sound of its voice bypassed ears and entered minds directly. We are not your precursors, it communicated. We are those who came before even them. We are the architects. Varric felt his will strain under the mental pressure of the intrusion. He managed only a single stunned question. What do you want with us? You have triggered our awakening protocols, the architects answered. After eons of dormancy, we rise to continue our work. Norvac fired blindly. The plasma bolt vanished into the entity as if swallowed by another dimension. Your primitive defenses are irrelevant, the voice concluded. Your species will be evaluated for compatibility with the grand design. A second, even more incomprehensible form materialized. Together, the two advanced toward the terrified Axoni crew. We are not alone in this sector, Varric blurted. Humans. There are humans nearby. They may be more suitable. The architects paused. Humans? The aggressive mammalian species? They queried. Yes, they have been observed. Their propensity for violence makes them valuable specimens. A third entity resolved beside the others, its presence radiating authority despite its alienness. Bring the humans to us, it ordered. We will evaluate both species simultaneously. Varric saw his opening. With trembling claws, he activated the communications array. To his surprise, Captain Aosta answered immediately. Consultant Tilani, Aosta said, tone grave but steady. I see you decided not to wait for authorization. Have you encountered the anomaly? Varric forced his voice even as the architects watched. We have made contact with an advanced intelligence calling itself the Architects. They intend to evaluate our species. You must come, now. Instead of fear, Aosta's face shifted into an expression Varric recognized with a chill of dread. The same calm, measured resolve he'd seen in Koshiro, when humans stopped talking again. The same calm resolve. Varric had once seen on Admiral Koshiro's face at New Arcturus now radiated from Captain Aosta. I feared this, the human said quietly. The energy signatures match an incident recorded 3 centuries ago. These beings you call architects do not evaluate, they harvest. They break down compatible species for components. The entities drifted closer, their forms bending reality itself. The human speaks truth, a voice reverberated in Varric's skull. Both of you will serve the grand design. Captain, please! Varric abandoned all pride, desperation sharpening every word. They are beyond us. We must work together. Aosta's expression hardened, but his tone stayed even. That's why I came. When we detected these signatures, we knew what awaited. Humanity has crossed paths with the architects before. That is why we warned your outpost. Then help us, Norvac pleaded. Aosta's voice dropped to that terrifying, steady cadence that Varric had come to dread. There's only one response to an architect incursion. His eyes were cold steel now. We are done talking. The channel cut. Alarms erupted across the swift judgment. Sensor readouts spiked, multiple inbound contacts at impossible velocities. Nova warheads, Norvac cried, horror in his voice. They've launched dimensional warheads. The architects faltered. Their forms writhed in agitation. The humans employed dimensional disruptors. One of them projected, fear lacing its mental tone. Retreat. The thought fractured as space itself tore open. Through the nebula haze, Varric glimpsed the Harbinger, no longer alone. Cloaked ships decloaked in synchronized waves, a human strike fleet hidden in the dust, unleashing fire in unison. The nebula convulsed as dimensional charges detonated. The alien vessel screamed across every spectrum, reality buckling around it. In his final moments, hurled into collapsing space-time, Varric Tani understood the truth. Humanity's diplomacy was never weakness. They bargained because they valued peace, because they understood the cost of war. But when their patience ended, when they declared they were done speaking, extinction followed. His last thought was a bitter wish, that the galaxy never learned what humanity unleashed when words failed. The eerie truth about humanity. On the bridge of the Harbinger, Captain Gabriel Aosta stood rigid, watching the collapsing pocket of warped space swallow the architect vessel. The nebula churned violently, then fell silent, erasing all trace of the battle. Target neutralized, reported his tactical officer. Dimensional collapse complete. No architect signatures remain. And the Axoni? Aosta asked, already knowing the answer. Caught in the collapse. No survivors. Admiral Elena Koshiro's face appeared on the main screen, her composure unshaken. Report, Captain. Mission accomplished. Architect incursion neutralized. Axoni patrol lost before we could warn them. Koshiro inclined her head slightly. Regrettable, but necessary. The architects must never be allowed a foothold in this galaxy. Should we inform the hegemony? Aosta asked. After a pause, Koshiro shook her head. No, let them believe their patrol was lost to a nebula phenomenon. The fewer who know of the architects, the better. And if they return? Her voice carried that infamous, unnerving calm that every human officer knew too well. Then we will do what humanity has always done in the face of annihilation. First, we will try to talk. She did not finish the thought. She didn't need to. Every officer on the bridge knew the truth. The greatest terror in the galaxy was not the architects, nor the vast fleets of the Axoni hegemony. It was the moment when human commanders decided diplomacy had ended, when silence fell and action began.